Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Brooke Jolly. This is a short video showing how to use the Padma theme. Padma is something I've been using for a while. It's an interface for WordPress that allows you to use it as a drag and drop instead of having to hand edit code or something to get your theme to work, or do any kind of like back-end PHP work with the CSS and actually put the code in yourself to do it. This lets you do it as a drag and drop. You can see right now that there's literally nothing. This is what shows up if you go to this website. The back end though, WordPress is already installed. I'm already logged in. So if you don't know how to do those things, this is not the tutorial for you. I will show you what I have installed to do this though. Here in the plugins, this site already has WooCommerce installed on it, but I have the things that are important that have to be installed for this all to work. For what I'm going to be doing here are this WooCommerce has to be installed for some of the content that I'm going to be using. And in the appearance section in your themes, you have to have installed Padma Unlimited. This right now I'm using version 1.3. You can see in the plugins page, it's got the updater and the Padma services stuff there. Those have to do with updating it, keeping it up to date. The rest of these are caching plugins or things that I use that are just integrations for WordPress, but I use very, very few plugins to actually accomplish what I'm going to be doing here. It's these right here. This one right here is just there to show an under construction page to people that are trying to see the page now because there's nothing displayed, and it shows me what it actually will be showing because I'm logged in. Well, let's get started here. It's not that hard. We're going to go Padma theme, and the first place we need to go. Actually, wait. Back up. First thing we need to do is make a couple pages. This is a brand new site. All I've got right now are the pages that WooCommerce installed. So I got the shop page, privacy policy, my account, checkout, cart. WooCommerce makes all of those. I need to add a couple. I need to add one, and you're going to be like, this looks like crap. There's nothing there. We're going to fix that later. Hookah Airs is what I'm working on right now. It's a page that has to do with a comedy show that we filmed in Sandusky, Ohio. All I'm going to add here is, if you don't know how to bring this up, you push a / when you get to the second line. It'll let you bring up the blocks that you can add in the block section of the new editor for WordPress. Push / and I would normally type in WooCommerce, so it would bring up, just Woo will bring it up. So it'll bring up the things that are there. And just click best selling products is all I'm going to do now. And it's going to show 2 products that I've already added to the store. Highly unimportant right now. What we're doing this for is so that there's something to display on the home page. And I'm just going to hit publish there. That's it. Very little work required to actually build that page out. But you can add more to it, and it will add it to a very specific place that we're going to be making in a little while, and I'll show you where that is. Next, we're going to add one more page. And we're going to go here, and we're just going to type posts. That's it. I know that seems like it would take doing more than this, and there is more that needs to be done really, in the title and description and everything else needs to be filled in, and there's some SEO work that needs to be done. But for right now, all that needs to be done to make this work is type posts and then publish that. Because we just need these 2 pages to exist. And it has to do with what we're about to build for the rest of the site. Then we're going to go here to settings and go to reading, I think is the right tab. I was right. Thought I was going to be wrong on my first, because sometimes I don't remember these well. We're going to go for home page. We're going to set it to the page we just made that just has the best-selling products, and that's all that's on it. And for the post page, we're going to tell it the page that we just made called posts, and that's it. We're going to tell it anything else. That's all I need to do. And hit save changes. So now what we've done is we've created the 2 pages that we're now going to go and edit. So now what I need to do is go to Padma theme and go to visual editor. Now here it says currently editing front page. You need to make sure that's what it says there. Where it's got this grid manager, I'm just going to close that. Don't need it at all. So you do first here. Normally I like my pages to have a navigation bar at the top. That's my normal way I like to build them. This thing, when you're building a website, you got to think of it kind of like a collage. So each part of what builds your website or what goes on your website just makes up a box. And all you have to do to make those is you drag these boxes out on the screen like this, on the grid, which is what they call this in Padma. And now that we have this block here, which we can tell it what goes in that block. So here, for my top, I'm going to put navigation just at the top, right? I'm going to drag this so that it's a more appropriate size for a nav bar. I'm going to drag that all the way up, and you may be like, well, why would you do that? Next, we're going to add another wrapper, which is what they call that in Padma. That extra wrapper will pop right down below that one, and I'm going to expand this one. Here, I'm going to add something to make it, have a more graphical pop for this web page. So you see here on all the block options that we have available, I'm going to pick image. Since this is the front page, I'm going to show a big cover image of the cover from the comedy show. So there, I'm going to click choose image, hit upload files because I'm going to get this one from my computer because I have a scaled image sitting there waiting. And then cover one long web width. Width is the correct one. Got all tongue-tied for a second. Open that up. Now here where it's got alt text, it's a good idea to actually type what that is. What that's used for is screen readers. So if somebody is visually impaired, they can actually see, or they can have the screen reader read to them what that image was in case they want to know what's on your page. It's a really, really important thing that most people just leave blank on WordPress. I don't know why. I think it's because most of them don't know what it does. So I'm going to put Hookah Airs cover art, 5 cartoon figures standing in circle, top reads the Hookah Connection, Sandusky, Ohio. Bottom reads Hookah Airs, the Nash Exodus Comedy Tour. And then here, Hookah Airs comedy cover. Those won't even show up. That alt text is for screen readers more than anything. Now we're going to click use image. And what we've got there now, big image, middle of the screen, kind of like I wanted. Got to drag it out a little bit so that it, and we don't want it to automatically resize. That will help because we want it to actually fill this area. Now, I'm also going to hit this little gear here, I'm going to right click this and go to wrapper options, or here it is. I don't even have to go to the options anymore. I'm going to right click there. You have to click in this little white area between the two if you've already done it. I'm going to change this wrapper to fluid. And the reason I'm going to do that is when the page displays later, I don't want a frame around this image. I want this image to just stretch to the margins. So I'm going to change that wrapper to fluid. Even though it looks like currently that's a white and the background doesn't look pretty, we're going to change that in a bit. So next, I'm going to go ahead and add another wrapper down at the bottom. Mostly the reason I'm doing that is because I need to be able to drag this out a little bit because that image still isn't sized. There we go. Now, cover art's there. Next thing we're going to do here is we're going to drag and make another block. In this block, we're going to put what's called content. And that block is very important. It basically has to exist on every page. The only blocks that really have to exist are content and some sort of navigation so that it can go so that you can go somewhere else so that it's not just a dead end. But the content is the block that displays whatever you put in that page when you edit the page, or that post when you edit the post in WordPress. The content block is where it displays all of that. And even though that content block there looks like it's not very tall, it will actually expand itself to make it fit whatever you need it to. But I'm going to go ahead and add another block below it anyway. And this last one here, we're going to add a footer. A lot of times you want a header and a footer on pages. This particular instance, I really don't care because it's the main home page and I want that picture to display at the top more prominently than anything. I may even move the navigation down below the picture, honestly. So here we've got, and what I like to do on these when I put them in, I usually click hide Padma attribution. You normally don't want to give up just by something that could scrape from your text what theme you're using, even though it's not that hard to figure out, and I'm giving it up completely by showing this. I removed that admin login thing because it's completely unnecessary, and I removed that show the go to top link. I just remove all of those. Sometimes I put a completely custom text box down there instead, but so here we go. And this, let's see. Now that we've got another block below it, it's a little bit easier to drag it out so that this content box is a little bit bigger. And I want that content box to have a little bit of a higher minimum size than it was having there, because there's going to be, you know, some stuff in there. But here you go. What we have now, top nav bar, like you would see like almost any web page ever made. Let's shrink that just a tad more. Scoot it all the way up on its margin. These are things I was going to have to fix later because I get OCD about all this stuff. All right. Good. This right here is a working first draft. So we've got a nav bar, the content box, everything else. What we're going to do next is hit save. And when you hit save, this is now what the front page looks like. If I go to the front page now and refresh, you can see it's exactly, and it's not the prettiest thing, but it's exactly what I told it to display there. Now next what we're going to do is we're going to go back up here, and instead of this part of the editor, we're going to click the little brush. It takes you to the display editor, or the design editor. I keep calling things the wrong word. Doesn't matter what they're called, frankly. Now, and I'm closing all these little warnings off because I don't need them. I've used this before. It's like, please make sure you know how this works first. Yeah, I do. So here, all you have to do to edit most of the areas of the screen, as long as you're whole thing isn't malfunctioning, is you right click on it. Hold on, I'm just going to reload this because something's actually malfunctioning for me. It's unusual. There it goes. It wouldn't let me click on anything because the design editor was for some reason messing up. I think it's because I clicked this. That was what did it. That turns it on and off, I think. No, that wasn't what did it. Who knows? It's working now. If it's not showing your menus and stuff and something is malfunctioning like just happened to me, this is a good just show and tell for everybody. But when that happens, reload the page. It normally fixes it. Up here, see, I don't like how much of any of this looks, but what we're going to do is fix that. So, like, say the background here behind this picture, I think that should be black. I think it would look better. So, all you have to do when you're in the design editor to change how something looks is right-click on whatever that thing is. In this case, it's a wrapper, and what we want to edit is this instance. We don't want to edit the regular element wrapper because that changes all wrappers. We don't want to edit this content, but we want to edit this instance of a wrapper. When you do that, it brings up the menu that you can see over here on the right. Let's make sure that I'm not covering that up with the camera because I might be. I am covering up a little. I can move where my camera is though. So over here on the right, you have these different options over here. They let you edit whatever block that you've got selected, which right now is this wrapper. So we're going to go over here to background, tell it color, click the color swatch, and then here I'm just going to pick black. You can see now, much more stark background image there. They do the same thing with the structure body element here. And what we want to change on it is the background color. So we're going to edit that. But this one's for the whole site because I don't really love that off gray that it's using there. Instead, I'm going to go, let's see what color we like for this. More of a blue-gray. Well, we're not going to call it. It's more of a sky blue there, but I like it better than the other color. And this is mostly for demonstration purposes. I'll probably change it in a bit. So you can see that changes that, and it will change it. If I hit save here now that I hit save, look over here. We refresh this page. Colors are changed. The background colors are changed in both spots. You can see that it made an immediate change to the whole site. Same thing here. This menu up at the top. Don't like how the words on it look. So I'm gonna change the menu item, which is what this is. Regular item, menu item. I'm gonna click edit right there. What that does is changes all of the menu items, and what I'm gonna do is change the font. So if you like this element here, if you want to change the font on something, you can right click it and do like I just did. Again, it would be right click, go to edit regular element, go here to font, and you can change the font to any. The cool thing here is it has all the Google web fonts pre-installed. So you can just go to that and sort by popularity, and then find one that you think matches how you like the way that your site is. I like Rubric a lot. I use it on a lot of things. So like here, I'm going to set the font to Rubric. Then it's a little small now. It's kind of hard to see. Customize the font size. We're going to, whoa, it does this occasionally. It jumped up to 50. We don't need 50. We're going to take the font size to about 20. Looks pretty decent. Maybe go a little higher, maybe at 22. Better. Then if you want to make them a little bigger or something like that, you can hit like font styling and change it to bold. You see how that's much easier to read now? And that will change the menu to be like that on every page if we use it again. So it doesn't have to. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. It's not exclusive to this page. Now that we've got this made, this is our home page. Our front page is now made. So if you go to the site, front page is there. But the post page currently looks like this because it's copying the exact same format that we were using for our main page. We don't want that because the main page has this giant graphic on it that's very specifically made to show that graphic and have a couple things and then have the other links on it. That's what front pages are normally for, they're landing pages. So we want the post page to not feature that image, and same for the other one. So how do you do that? So we're going to go back here, and we're going to go back to the design editor that we were at to start, or the first, what is that? That's the grid, sorry. Block editor, whatever it's called. I always forget the names of these things. Then we're going to click here and go blog index to edit that instead. You see here, there's no layout for it here at all. So what we're going to do is hit customize current layout. We're going to choose to clone the front page because it's already there, it already exists, and this will save us a little bit of time. I'm going to go here to this wrapper. I'm just going to delete the wrapper. Now we've got the same thing, right? With the exception of we don't have that giant picture on there. But I know you're like, but what if I still want to have one? Hold on, I can solve this problem. So we're going to go again so that we can have a picture on here, but we're not going to have one as tall. I have a smaller one, and I'm going to do the same thing on here that I did on the other. Oh, put that wrapper in the wrong place. Let's delete the wrapper. We shouldn't have matched, I just moved it. You can take these and you can move them up and down. So I'm going to make that wrapper the second instead of the first. The way you do that is over here on the right where it's got this little tool that has the up and down arrow on it. You click that and drag. So you can move any of these up and down once you've created a page. It's the first time I've needed to do it, so I hadn't had the need to mention it yet. We're going to make this a little bit bigger, and we're going to do the same thing we did earlier. We're going to drag a box to make an image block. Go down here, click image, choose image, and then I'm going to upload another one. I have a wide version instead of the tall version that I was using a little while ago. Cover one wide, web scaled. I made this earlier. Same thing I did earlier. Actually, I can use the exact same thing because it reads the exact same words. I'm going to use the same words to describe that one because they don't. Somebody that's visually impaired it's still 5 people. Let's see. I think I have standing in circle. I can take that because that is incorrect. Now they're standing in a line. And then Hookah Airs comedy cover. So we've got all the alt text and title fixed. And It looks like I'm spending more time on that than you would think you should, but really, those are important. There's no reason your website shouldn't have the little tiny amount of work necessary so that someone that's visually impaired can actually use it. Same thing we did before. Just click Update. Take out the automatically resize image. Get that box up to the correct size. There we go. A little bit too tall. Perfect. Perfect. I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to open my wrapper options. And on that wrapper, or sorry, I didn't mean to open options. Haha. I'm going to change the wrapper to fluid just like I did earlier, so that because I like that look better. And I'm going to click Save because this is all I needed to do to get the blog index part done. The content box is still there from before. I didn't have to make a new one. Everything's like it should be. I'm going to click Save. I'm going to go over here to Design again. And you can see it held on to my menu item options. It held on to that background option. It didn't do it for this one because this is a different wrapper. But here we're going to edit this instance again, and we're going to change this background to black also. So all we have to do to fix that is to just that one click and then hit Save. And here it's only got the hello world and the testing post that I made earlier. But you can edit how any of this looks also, the same way that we're editing everything else. And it will affect, if you do it correctly, it will affect all the other posts that ever get made on the site. So one of the other things that I'm going to show you that I also always like to do, here, the structure where we've got, here where we've got the posts, I like to take and make it so that these have custom fonts on everything. I'll show you how to do that really quickly. Same way you did on the other thing, you just right click, edit regular element title, and this is going to change the font for every title on the entire website. It's not going to just change it in one spot. So you don't have to do it over and over and over and fix it for multiple places. You just adjust the title. And how do we want the titles to look? I'm going to use Railway. I like Railway. So put Railway, and you can see that it immediately changed it on all of them. We're going to use Railway. We're going to jump that up to a 28 because Railway has it's a bit of a tall, skinny font. You can leave, and this is where you change how the looks of a lot of things are. But you can change so many things about the decoration and the style and how the text looks. I like a lot of times for my titles to be in small caps, which makes there be large capitals and small capitals. It's a funky looking post style. You can change everything to bold. You can change the text alignment. You can change the color of the text. You can put a background behind the text. You can do lots of things. Just play with the different options. It's smart though, if you're not sure about what you're going to do, to go up here and hit Save Snapshot so that you can back up to what you were doing before. Like if I wanted to change a billion things at once, I could right now hit Save Snapshot and set Draft 1. And now, if we ever wanted to go back to that, I can click Rollback. It's a simple little system in there made so that you can have it look however you want to and then back up to whatever was there before. And this is just, again, this is how you make your introductory pages and how you get everything working. And now, what normally happens when you do what I just did, also just a fun treat. So here's our main page. So we're on the main page of the website and we come to the main page. It's going to look like this. Go to Posts now. Looks like this. Now normally you go to the other pages. It's also going to look like the Posts page other than the home page. So all your other pages take on the characteristics of the Posts page, not the home page. So when you're designing your pages, design it around that, knowing that that's probably going to happen, and that those two will end up being the template used for everything else. And then if you want to, you can go back and you can customize every other page on the website to your heart's little content afterward, but it saves you a lot of time to have the first two built out that way. So I hope this was helpful. Got any questions, you can shoot them over to me on social media. I'm Brooke Jolly on basically every social media there is. I'm going to record some more of these showing how to do more stuff, but I hope this helped.